Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that remote. Got a great show. This show is going to be a lot about somebody that, well, she didn't create it, but it's a new creation here in Montgomery County, in the courts of Montgomery County. And this show has a lot to do with, number one, Black History Month. Proud to show first women Afro-American elected to the courts of Montgomery County. Her name is Judge Austin. And tell me how we met. Judge, tell me how we met.
Well, I believe it was our good friend, through our good friend Oscar Vance.
Yeah.
He knows everybody. I like to call him the mayor.
He was my boss.
I call him the mayor of Montgomery County, but he knows everybody.
Right, so, and he is your, what do they call that, hold the Bible?
He helps me out in the courtroom. He runs my courtroom, in fact.
You know, that's best to have a former detective, county detective, or police officer in your court, you know, in case of something goes wild, and so they come right, you know. I know in my years, former policeman in Norristown for 24 years, and then county detective for 13. We know that we've had guys. I think it was a prisoner from the Greater Fort that jumped up and wanted to go after the judge, and I think it was Judge Honeyman they came after. So you need protection because, you know, you get a lot of wackos come up there, you know. So you can, I'll teach you how to little box, get a little bit. Give me the boxing glove.
Oscar's really good at keeping order.
We'll teach you how to box a little bit. Pow, pow. So, all right, now, you have a nice personality.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you.
And so do you think some of them confuse your kindness with weakness?
Well, I believe everybody deserves respect.
Right.
So I treat everyone that comes before me with dignity and respect.
Right.
But by the same token, it's a courtroom.
Right.
So I have laws that I've sworn duty to enforce. But I believe in treating everybody respectfully.
I believe
you.
Right.
I like to say that I deal with tact and diplomacy. And my definition of diplomacy is being able to tell somebody to go to hell and have them look forward to making the trip.
Yeah. Say,
you know, like
so, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's right. But you tell them that, right? You got them on. But how did you get involved? Now, where were you? Tell me something about yourself. Where were you born? Here, over there, here?
Well, I feel very lucky and very fortunate to have made it here to Montgomery County.
You were born here in Montgomery County?
No, but I grew up in Ohio.
Oh, you grew up, yeah.
In Ohio, Cincinnati.
Ohio?
I grew up in Ohio.
Youngstown, all the time?
No, Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati,
you know,
okay.
The home of the Big Red Machine and the Bengals. We call them the Bungles, but the Big Red Machine. And I went away to college at Northwestern University, just outside of Chicago. But the big city, Chicago's the big city.
Yeah.
But while I was there, the ROTC opened up to women. Back then, women couldn't join the ROTC. But in 1975, they opened up the doors to women. So I joined ROTC. You know, there was this slogan.
You're like the first. That's another first.
Yeah, join the Navy, see the world. And that's what I did. Excuse me.
You joined the Navy?
I joined the Navy.
In the boat?
No,
Ship?
well, back then they didn't let women on ships.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. But
the birth control went up.
Well, I don't know
when they got
that.
on boats.
Well, I don't think the wives appreciated it quite that much. But
Well,
I'd stayed in the Navy for 24 years.
This lady, Ramsey, that's headed this new Norristown Chamber of Commerce, she was an officer in
the Air Force, I think, or Army, one of them, yes.
No, I think so, yeah. And I'm going to work along with her. Maybe that's what Norristown needs, a little bit of, military something, I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
You can't go wrong.
So you're the first. And I mean, what inspired you to be like in law? Why didn't you go for dentist or doctor or something else? You know, somebody starts out. I know Dr. Blasco, my heart doctor. He started out as a heart, and he stayed with it. And then my eye doctor, he started out as a dentist. Then he wound up as being an eye doctor. You know, so did you ever shift gears or deciding?
But
Who inspired you?
well, the main reason I went into law or to study the law was because I just got tired of people messing with me. You know, that's the honest to God truth. I had so many people try to take advantage of me, and they could because I didn't know the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Our laws are like the rules of our society.
In other words, you just took it to educate yourself, and you wind up, you saw, all right, had a lot of legs.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you can't, our society is like a game. We can't play the game if we don't know the rules.
That's right. That's
so
right.
I went to law school at night
Right.
and just learned the rules.
Right.
And so it opened up doors for me
Right.
personally, though.
Well, your personality would get you a ringside seat.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
How about, do you think religion had anything to do with it?
Well, I have to have faith. I mean, and
Yes,
I
right.
think that it plays a major part.
Right.
Because there's a higher power. And some
Right.
of the things none of us has any control
Yeah.
over. But we have to believe and
Yes,
we have
yes.
to have faith
Right, right.
that there's better things there and
Yeah.
that better things are possible.
Right, right, right. You know what? Well, now Montgomery County, you have been selected, well, like I do when the president judge selects somebody, one for juvenile, one for this. Tell me now that you are in a new court created for veterans. Now, tell me
Absolutely.
what the scoop is, who's allowed to get in, who's not allowed to get in, and what do you do to help them?
Well, our Veterans Court is something that is happening in courts throughout our country. They're recognizing.
I mean, does most big cities have the court now?
Yes.
They
yes,
do?
They
It's
do.
mandatory.
Well, not really mandatory because there's a lot that's involved with it.
Yeah.
But wherever it's possible, we try to help our veterans.
Yeah, in other words, if you can handle it. Yeah, because if
Absolutely.
you only got 4 or 5 judges, they got enough.
Absolutely.
Shoplifting takes over everything.
Well, that and the DUIs. So that takes
that,
up a lot.
DUI, yeah.
Yeah. But in our county, Judge Ferber, who has since retired, he's a former
Judge
Marine.
Ferber.
He started the Veterans Court.
Oh, did
and
he?
Yes, he did.
And he retired?
Yeah, he's retired.
You know, he
now.
used to come with Judge Cirillo, Judge Moss, him, and a lot of other Sanziani. I used to referee fights down at the Spectrum. And they all used to come down to the fights.
No
you know.
kidding.
Yeah. Ferber, yeah, he was a young guy.
He was really very
Yeah,
instrumental in starting this. So I'm just like continuing the good work that Judge
Yeah.
Ferber started.
All right, now, what type of veteran, because some veterans come out of the service with wounded, physically, mentally, whatever. So what do you do?
Well, first of all, the veterans that come into my court have been charged with a crime. So they are criminal defendants, first of all. We don't accept veterans who have been charged with a violent crime. But we have criminals who have like DUIs. A lot of them are drug-related crimes.
Drugs. And then you have a special court for that, Judge O'Neill?
Yeah, that's a different court because Judge O'Neill takes everybody. We only take veterans, people who have previously served in the military.
Give me an example of a type of case of a veteran.
Well, a veteran who generally that we have a lot of DUIs, driving under the influence cases, people who have more than one driving under the influence case. And then we have some individuals who acted inappropriately, trespassing, some of those other things.
Assault, beating a fist fight,
Well,
get
as
a
long
couple
as
drinks in them.
as long as the victim is okay with their trying to get better in this Veterans
okay.
Court. But we give these people treatment. We use the VA hospital services. They get therapy, they get medical treatment, they get.
Oh, you work along with them?
We couldn't do it without them.
Oh.
But because they're veterans, that service is available to them.
Well, in other words, you have another, rather than, the only thing you had before was jail and probation.
Right.
And probation, go out sometime, they needed help, and they shouldn't be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we have all of the resources of
you
the
know
veterans.
Dr. Jin? Dr. Jin, she's, she's at Coatesville. She's my, takes care of, because I was a service, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. I got my hearing aids. I get them from the service, you know.
So
Dr.
you
Jin.
go all the way out to Coatesville.
Well, yeah, I go there for the hearing, but for checking up and all, I go to Spring City. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
where she's in charge there. She's a wonderful lady. You know.
We have a lot of our veterans in our program. They live in Coatesville because there's an inpatient.
They live in the
They live in the facility because there's an inpatient rehabilitation facility within Coatesville. So they'll spend like 6 weeks or even longer.
They live
there.
in the hospital.
Right.
The hospital grounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know any big politicians?
No.
Yes. I go there to get my hearings, and then the lady in charge of the hearing thing, she's wonderful, Yvonne. And every time I go there, I take some fruit for everybody in the office, you know.
Oh, that's
and some
thoughtful.
little cookies. But when I drive through there, I see some of these veterans. One time I was in a waiting room, before they had the separate room for the hearing aid patients. And one guy would have an old jacket, another guy, you know, and they were all veterans. And then I saw one guy come in, he had a jacket, he put a hat, even though it didn't fit him right, but he was proud to wear it. I'm saying to myself, why didn't the congressman from that area, they got surplus clothes, you know, some kind of a tiger, something that could put some uniforms on that rather than walking on guys that look like all beaten up. They would be proud and they would look better. It'd make me feel better when I see this guy. Look, oh my God, look at the way he's like all ragged. It'd make me feel, I don't know, maybe I'd say.
Was it a uniform?
Well, any kind of, just even if they're fatigues, they could be the tan jacket or something, anything, something that some of the surplus uniforms are not wearing.
Oh, okay. Well,
because
that's
it's a
good
military.
project.
Why shouldn't they? Because it's a shame the guys walking around with like old duty shirts and stuff like that. So, and I stop in the PX too, and I get a little stuff there, no taxes, you know. But these are things that I think is something just.
That's a good project for you.
Yeah. All right, well, touch, you know. My mom say, do good and forget, do bad and regret.
Well, and that's the way it works.
And that's what we got to do.
Absolutely,
Right.
that's the way it
Now,
works.
what else you want to tell me about the historic background of, this is Black History Month. Tell me something about the advancements, how some cement walls you hit, get up there, you had to climb over, whatever.
Well, just getting on the bench has been a challenge, but it's one that I feel very blessed to have done. It is just, I ran for judge twice, and the second time that I ran, I won. But it's a great opportunity to do a lot of good.
In other words, don't lose the fight in the dress room. Get out there, win and lose it in the ring.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, we have a question from the lady with the green hat up there. And her question is, what have you learned about our veterans population through this court?
I have learned that Montgomery County has a lot of veterans. And the Montgomery...
That's a good point.
We have a lot of veterans that live here in Montgomery County, but the county government itself has the most awesome Veterans Services Department. And they make up our Veterans Court team. See, it's not just about me, the Veterans Court. I have a whole team of people that help me.
Yeah.
One is the representative from the county Veterans Services Department.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The other, I have representatives from adult probation. And
Adult probation,
Adult
okay.
probation, and I have a representative from the jail, the Montgomery County Correctional Facility. They come to help out. I've got a representative from the district attorney's office, from the public defender's office. We meet before court to figure out what's going on.
Well, you know, you ought to touch base with the police, because sometimes police don't know what to do with a case. If it's either he's mental, he might have to go to state hospital, or if it's drugs, you have to go to, you know. So I think it's always touch base. They should be able to be a contact. When in doubt, check it out with the court.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that at the district court level, if the district judges know that veterans have this resource, that would just be great. And because that's where a veteran defendant, that's your first encounter with the justice system, is through the police and the district court.
Yeah.
So I think once more of them know about the veterans aspect of it, then we can steer more veterans and we can help more veterans.
I think one of the things that would be very helpful would be a veteran that gets married and has children, and then he starts having problems, and then the family comes apart, and then he goes into divorce, then he becomes drinking. You know, the guy, he got problems, he goes over, he starts drinking, and that makes it worse, just putting gas on the fire.
Yeah, but you know, Hank, we have resources in our county to help veterans with families.
Well,
like
that's
that.
it.
In fact, over on Johnson Highway, there's a veteran center.
Yes.
And they do wonderful counseling there. So you just have to reach out and ask for help.
I asked someone over there one time, they asked somebody to come on my show, you know. Oh, she said, I had to check with Philadelphia. Well, I had to check with so I'll get back to them, you know. And sometimes they had to check with this. Same thing, I wanted to get a state policeman. He said, I had to check Haverford. I had to check it. I said, okay, I'll get to you one time at a time.
There's a lot of bureaucracy, but the mission is there, the passion is there from the people who work there, because they really care, Hank.
And don't forget now, your veterans get older and older each year. So you have a special department, age, and what do they call that, age and something else.
Aging and adult services, yes.
Because some of the veterans might fit in there.
Yes, we take advantage of those services too. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
That's great, you know. And I'll tell you, you got the right personality to do it, you know, because you can't have some guys have a person, yes, no. I had a lady come in here one time. I don't want to say what department, I don't want to give her name. I says, well, tell me about yourself. Well, I don't have much to talk about than that. I said, well, okay. I said, you're married? I don't want to talk about that. I'm in the middle of a mean divorce. I said, okay. I said, where are you from? I don't have to tell you where I'm from. I felt like saying, but...
that's the challenges of being a talk show host.
She had a little problem. She had a problem. I think she should, but that would be a special court.
Yeah, well, It is.
They're for Italians, a stonado. It means like they're in a trance, you know.
Well, in Montgomery County, we have 3 special courts. We have a behavioral health court for people that's people who have mental health issues.
Okay.
And then we have the Veterans Court, of course. And then we have Judge O'Neill's court, which is the substance abuse, the drug court. So we have 3 courts, special courts, where we try to help people who need help.
Right. All right, here's another one from that guy with the brown jacket up there. What are the rewards of being a judge? That's a good one. Nice guy up there.
The biggest reward, Hank, is when I go home at night and I think about my day. The biggest reward to me is knowing that I have helped at least one person that day. Yes, and that I did my best.
Yeah, you know, we had a priest down in St. Holy Saviour's. Do your best, and God will do the rest.
That's a good saying. That's an excellent saying.
Say that all the time, you know.
Yes, that is.
Well, I think it has to be a certain, you know, I know when I was in juvenile court, when I had to go there and I had to testify, whether it was a mother and a father and they were divorced or something like that, I feel sorry. You don't know what to do, you know. the father's cheating on the wife and the wife is complaining, the judge got to stand there and listen to that. And and you got your own experiences, and you think, oh my God, I feel sorry. What do you do to help these people?
Well, luckily, as judges, we're guided by the rules. That you remember, I talked about the law, and in most instances, our biggest thing that we have to look at is what is in the child's best interest.
Right.
So regardless of what's going on within all of the parties, what's going to help this child?
Yeah.
What's going to make...
That's always the back right here. That's the power punch, right?
Absolutely.
Right. The other just jab, pow. Right.
I love your fighting analogies here. They're great.
Life is a fight.
It is. It truly is. It is.
Never lose the fight in the dressing room. My brother was my trainer. I was going to fight in the Golden Gloves in Philadelphia. So I fought 2 guys, and finally, each time you'd win, you had to fight the next guy, the better guy. So finally, I saw this one guy. He come out, pow! He knocking everybody out, 3 knockouts. I mean, the guy was... So I only had 3 fights. So I went into the open class, where fight with a guy who maybe had 20 fights. I told my brother, I says, Joe, I don't want to fight this guy. I'm going to bail out. He says, look, you trained for the fight, and you're going to go in there and you're going to fight, and you're going to do what's right. You're not going to lose this fight in the dressing room. You're going to win it or lose in the ring, okay? I fought that night, and he was so, missing. Boom, second round, third round, front. I beat him. And from then on, I says, I will not lose the fight in the dressing room. I'm going to fight. Even though it says, don't look, But it's the same thing. When you sit down in the case and say, oh, my God, they don't look like there's a way that this is going to handle out, right? And then all of a sudden, it starts coming together.
Well, Hank, that analogy...
You have to be blessed.
That works so well for our veterans also in our program, because when they first come in, they're really beaten down. I mean, they've been charged with a crime. They face incarceration. They face a ton of fines and costs and fees. But we are there to help.
Yeah.
And a lot of them they're not used to it. And so they have to fight, and we have to fight for them, to make them see that we're not there to punish them.
You're in our corner.
Absolutely.
You have somebody to turn to.
Absolutely. And that's what we try to do.
See, that's what happens. In fact, there's a song, Frank Sinatra, who do I turn to when
You're going to break out in song now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to sing a song? Hey, goodbye, hey. And Oscar Vance is your court crier, right?
Yes, he is.
And I sing, hey, goodbye, see what's so naughty. And then another day, when I was just a little boy, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. And that means what will be, will be. So that's what life's all about.
Absolutely.
All right, now another question from the audience. What are your greatest skills? As a judge. This is the lady with the yellow dress up there in the corner.
I've been on
What's
the bench.
What's your skill?
I have been on the bench for
How long you been on?
7 years. This is my 7th year.
7 years?
7 years now.
Oh, my God.
There are 10-year terms. And the thing that helps me more than anything is my ability to listen.
That's it.
I have to hear, and not only do I have to hear what's being said to me, I have to listen to what's not being said. Yeah. And I have to listen to what the meaning is of those things that are being said. Yeah. So it just takes great listening skills, but I love it. Yeah. I love listening. I'm not much of a talker.
So what you're really saying is 90% listening, 10% talking.
Absolutely.
I hear the mother disciplining her child, and a half hour telling it don't mean anything. The kid didn't hear the.
Right.
So you got to pick your shots. You listen, because you listen, and the more they talk, then you give an answer. being a judge is almost like a fighter. You got to pick your shots.
You do.
You never slug with a bum. A good fighter never slugs with a bum because a bum swings like that. You don't. You just take it pow, pow, beep, bow, bow, bow. See? But if you just go like that, he's going to hit you with a sucker punch and knock you out.
Well, you know, Hank, I really have never had much experience with fights, but I've learned so much just sitting here with you these past couple of minutes about fighting.
Well, I learned, see, one thing about boxing, you learn. It's almost the same thing like at the casino. Why do people like the slot machines? Because you get instant reward.
Oh.
If somebody comes over and tells you, I'm going to buy a couple of tickets, it's going to go off next month. But if you say, look, you want to buy a ticket, it's going to go off in 5 minutes, you'll buy it. Well, see? So these are things you put out there. Here's another. Oh, my God, we got a lively audience up there. You got a crowd come to see you. How has your role as a judge changed over the 7 years? Great question.
Yeah, in the military, we change jobs every 3 or 4 years because you get stationed different places. And I feel like I've gone through the same transitions since I've been on the bench. My first 2 years as a judge, I heard family law cases. I heard divorces, I heard custody matters, child support, just anything related to family law. And from there, after that 2-year period, then I spent 2 years hearing criminal cases.
Yeah.
And I started a DUI court. So I heard thousands of DUI cases. And now I'm hearing what they call probate court cases.
Yeah.
And these involve cases involving guardianships, people who can't take care of themselves, or estates, what happens to a person's possessions after they pass. I hear all of those types of cases. So my transition, the variety, is something that has changed throughout the years since I've been on the bench. It's just a lot of different cases. But my greatest joy, and because I just started in January, this Veterans Court, that has been a great experience. And a great opportunity to not only learn something, because the VA, although it's a big bureaucracy, it does a lot. It's a lot of stuff out there. And we make our Veterans Corps participants aware of all that they're entitled to as a result of their service to our country.
Yes. Well, that is good that you did different courts. That's the experience. It's the same thing with when you're boxing. When I get it, I trained in New York. I was a stablemate of Rocky Marciano, the heavyweight champ of the world. I refereed Joe Frazier's second pro fight. I threw Muhammad Ali out of the ring when he come in. So I have a little experience on dealing something like that. But the whole thing is to prepare yourself. You prepare yourself. There was a priest and a rabbi sitting ringside of the fight. And the one fighter blessing himself before the fight. So the rabbi says, Father, is that going to help him any? He said, it ain't going to help him a hell of a lot if he don't know how to fight it, he don't train.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Same with the priests out in Vegas, The prayers will come in here at the right time if you're sick and you're praying for somebody,
Well,
go ahead.
I believe that is true in any profession.
Right.
As judges even, we have to get continuing education credits, so many credits every year, because you got to stay on top of things. You got to know what you're doing, and that makes you a better professional.
And if you listen, 90% listen, make sure you get the whole story. Half of the truth is a lie.
Well, yeah.
This little boy goes to the confession, and he says, Father, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I stole a piece of string. And the father says, okay. He says, say one Hail Mary. Next week he come back, he says, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I stole 2 pieces of string. He says, wait a minute. why is it you're stealing these strings? She says, well, they had pearls on them. She says, well, why don't you tell me the whole story? Now you say more than this. You know, say more than the Hail Mary.
Absolutely.
See? So half of the story is a lie.
Well, that goes back to listening, though. You have to listen.
Did you challenge him? Did you challenge somebody when you think the guy's lying?
I do.
Rip into him?
Well, no. I don't believe in treating big people disrespectfully, but I ask questions. I'm inquisitive. If something doesn't make sense, there's usually a very good reason for it.
Okay, then you say, then you turn that off and you turn the other one on. Now tell me a little bit more about that.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think you're telling the whole truth, you know.
That's the way it works.
All right, here's one. You read it.
Oh, okay.
Read it out loud.
Well, let me see what it says.
The lady with the brown hat.
How has the courtroom environment changed over the years? Well, we've incorporated a lot of technology in our courtrooms.
Right.
For example, when we have hearings over video. People who we do it from the jail, so that the sheriff's department now doesn't have to bus a lot of people from the jail to the courthouse, unless it's for a trial or something like that. But there's certain hearings now where we just set up the camera at the jail and we go back and forth, and we do that for all types of hearings. Right. I've had issues related to a person's parenting, if they want to continue to be a parent, and they're in jail. So we have all types of hearings. But the use of technology is one of the biggest differences in our courtrooms nowadays. The other thing that I notice in our courtrooms is Montgomery County has a greater diversity of judges related to gender and race. I mean, over the last several years.
About 23, 24 judges?
Yeah, we got another judge, so there are 24 judges in Montgomery County.
Judge Rosenstein or something like that?
Judge Rothstein.
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 Yeah. I had her on my show here.
I love her. She's a wonderful
come on my show
person.
Before they were running, everybody won.
Well, see, that was a good sign. But we have more women on the bench now. We have more African Americans. Yes. Cunahan. We just have Judge Lois Murphy. We've got a lot. Wendy Dimchick-Aloy, Kelly Wall. I know I'm going to miss somebody's name, but we have a lot more women. And we have 2 other African Americans in addition to myself, Judge Garrett Page, Judge Steve Tolliver. So it's a bench that reflects the makeup of the community.
All right, we only got 30 seconds. Tell me, what do you want to wind up telling me?
Well, I just want everybody to know that our court, we value the service of our veterans, their participation in our democracy, and we honor them by making this opportunity available with our Veterans Treatment Court. So it's a great opportunity, and we just want the community to support it as well.
Well, I'd like to have you back around Veterans Day, and we'll have maybe some veterans here to talk about how you helped her in some way. And I don't want anybody that breaks the law to say, well, I think I'll get the lady judge, she'll be soft. Don't do that. You make a big mistake, because that lady's she got a left hook and a right hook. So Judge, I want to thank you. Judge Austin.
Thank you for this opportunity.
It's been a pleasure. The first time I met you, we were at a fundraiser.
Absolutely.
Helping where the 2 children got killed in the fire, and you were sitting at the table with Oscar. And and I said, you're a judge? He said, yeah. I said, you got to come on my show. And here we are. So ladies and gentlemen, here's the boxing gloves. I beat up on them. If anybody's trying to beat you up, just call me. I charge by the pound. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home, and I hope it opens some doors, and if anything, check with the courts, Montgomery County. If it has anything to do with veterans, you have a neighbor that needs help or so, check, okay? There's different agencies out there to help you. Don't be afraid to ask. When in doubt, check it out. So may God bless each and every one, and Judge Austin, God bless you from what you do.
Thank you, Hank.
I wish I was a Monsignor. I'd give you a blessing, but I guess okay. So Thank you very much. Adios, amigos. And away we go. Now, here.
Oh, cheers.
A la salud. That means to your health.
Salud.
Ah!